Well, Steve C9. Well, it wouldn't be a Psycho marathon if I didn't watch Hitchcock, the biopic about Hitchcock's life, but solely focusing on the period that he was making Psycho. It's great. It stars Anthony Hopkins as Hitchcock, Helen Mirren as his wife Alma, Scarlett Johansson as Marion Crane, Jessica Biel as Vera Miles, was it John D. Arce as Anthony Perkins? Who else was in it? A few people. It was an actual theatrical film. I saw it in the cinema. It cost 15 million. It made 27 million. I loved it. One of the greatest experiences I've had of reading a book was reading Janet Leigh's The Making of Psycho when I was in at university studying film. I was in my first place I lived in Melbourne. I just really remember reading that book and loving it, and regretting not buying a copy of it at the time in hardcover. But this is based on another book, Alfred Hitchcock and the Making of Psycho, written by someone else. And it covers a period of Hitchcock's life or in his career, where he, I think, was having some doubt. He'd been sort of a bit suffocated by the big Hollywood productions he'd been making, and it just felt like, I think he felt like he was part of the machinery of it all, and he wasn't really being very creative or inventive, like with his earlier films where they had no money and they had to be very ingenious and inventive and everyone was involved, and it was much more of a grassroots sort of thing, whereas this, he was very much in the studio machine. I think he was feeling that. The film starts at the end of the production for North by Northwest, where they've just had the premiere and it's all doing well. He's looking for his next project. He stumbles across Psycho after reading a review, and he decides that's going to be his next picture. He can see it. He can see it, and he wants to do something. He wants to create something for the audience, an experience. He wants to give them something different. No one else sees it. No one supports him. The studios aren't behind him. No one wants to do it. No one. It's just resistance all the way along. He ends up having to, I think, mortgage his house to actually pay for it himself through his own production house, who I think was making whatever series he was making at the time, Alfred Hitchcock Presents or the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. I'm not sure which one it was. They made it with the TV production crew, very cheap, black and white, very simple. He hired Joseph Stefano to write the screenplay, I think after he sort of realised the guy had a lot of issues with his mother and so forth, and he was in therapy, so it seemed to be the perfect one for that. The casting went fairly well. I mean, there are a lot of stories about Hitchcock and his blondes. Janet Leigh didn't have a negative experience, but she was also an established star at that point, unlike some of the other actresses that he actually was trying to, mould into stars and build their careers for them, and there are a lot of issues there. But he seemed to have a great relationship with her. She didn't have anything to say about it. There are lots of myths about things that he did on the set, and particularly with the shower scene, and we see one example of one of those here, and I'm not sure it's accurate or not, but all the rumours that he put cold water on her in the shower and changed it from hot water to colder and stuff like that, none of that happened. A lot of the actual filming they used models and not Janet Leigh, but it's a really good film. It's really well made. It's well written. It's well acted. The production, you feel like you're really there. Although I just realised when doing the first attempt at this review, they didn't go on the Universal lot and film around the house. The house set still exists. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. There's 2 shots of it which look very CGI in the background of scenes when they're talking. It was nice to see it. But I'm like, why didn't they just go and film on that set and show some of that? Because most of it was filmed in a soundstage, but they did, have the backlot as well. So I'm surprised they didn't, focus on that. Now, the other element of the movie, which is probably the bigger element, is his relationship with his wife. He thought she wanted to cheat at the time, and there's a lot of drama because she helped him with all his films, and I think she was a bit worn out as well. In this film, I think it gave them both a bit of a rejuvenation of sorts, and it's a very nice film. He did acknowledge her when he finally got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Film Institute. He never got an Oscar, but he did get the Lifetime Achievement Award, and he did thank her for that. But I really love this film. I saw it in the cinema. It was great, and I'm glad that I have it on DVD. I can watch it whenever I want. and I'm just glad that it got its own movie because it's one of my favourite films. And I mean, there's a lot of documentaries on Hitchcock films like Vertigo and Rear Window and Marnie and North by Northwest and all those. And Psycho has those as well, but it's good to see that it got its own film. I think it deserves it. It's probably his most successful film, his most iconic film, and it deserved it. So I'm just glad this film exists. If you haven't seen it, I'd see it. What else do I have to say? It's so much harder to do a review about something you really like, because just, hey, it was great, I liked it. It's just, it doesn't, take very long to say. But I'm over 5 minutes, so I'm done. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Hitchcock if you've seen it. If you haven't, I would. I'm just glad they made it. I wish there was more, like, it would have been nice to have gotten maybe a series, like 6 episodes or something, but we got our film.